Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. We are so excited to have our next guest joining us. Reverend Jessica Joan Conti is joining us here. She's a licensed mental health counselor within the state of Florida and has, a 200 hours trained certified yoga instructor, also level 2 Reiki practitioner, working to change the world, she says, one individual at a time. So welcome to the show today, Rev JJ. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm really excited to share some of what I do and how I can be of service.
Yeah, there you wear many hats. This is great. So you're the owner of JJ Lotus Therapy Lounge. By the way, let's first and foremost start off by how we can reach you. Tell us your website and all forms of contact, please.
Absolutely. So jjlotusTherapy.com. My contact form is on there. There's multiple areas throughout the website. You can connect with me, schedule a consult there, depending on insurance. You can also reach me through my business phone number, and I'm stationed in Tampa, Florida. So it's 813-683-8197 is the business line. You can go ahead and contact me there. But again, jjlotustherapy.com is the website.
Well, you offer many different services for healing and connecting with the self. Where did you want to begin, even with God? And you have, it's great to get to know you today. And I want to also get a little bit of your background, and then talk, of course, about all the services you can provide.
All right. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and we'll start there. Then we'll start with the beginning.
Sure. Go for it.
But so I come from crazy. I had a very dysfunctional, chaotic upbringing. My father. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I said ditto. Yes, I can empathize with this.
Yeah, there's a lot that I experienced. I've had many traumatic events. And when I do assessments with my clients, I ask about trauma, and trauma is one of my specialties. And we go through each one, sexual abuse, domestic violence, losses, physical abuse, emotional, psychological abuse. And all of those I can say yes to.
Yeah.
So I've had all of those experiences, unfortunately. And then I went ahead, and I got married, I got divorced, I had a couple of children. My boys now are 23 and 20. I think they're doing okay. Unfortunately, too, their father went to prison for about 8 years. So I had to deal with that whole experience as well, helping my kids adjust, and then also really being a single parent, without having any real assistance or help outside of his family. They did help me some. So that was a nice blessing that I had. But so, that kind of is some of what I have gone through. I also had a boyfriend at one point. This is now probably 10, 12 years ago. I dated for a couple of years. He passed away in a car accident. It was very tragic. And it really derailed a lot of where I was going with my life, changed things drastically for me. So that's kind of some of what I've gone through. And it's kind of brought me to where I am right now, being a healer and wanting to assist others and being able to work through their own stuff.
Well, I commend you for sharing all that you've gone through. And I know it's a lot, but it also is amazing because it made you who you are. And did you kind of want to walk down the line of now what you're doing and what you discovered about yourself and why you're here?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, too. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you.
So I went ahead, I've got my bachelor's degree in psychology, graduated back in 1999. That's how long I've had my education in psychology. I worked in a psychiatric hospital for about 5 years. It was quite an experience working with the chronically mentally ill and individuals that are homicidal and suicidal. And then from there, I had a lovely man, Dr. Hensel, Dr. Barry Hensel. He suggested to me that I go ahead and get licensed because I had mentioned wanting to have my own practice. Mm-hmm. And being a single mom, I didn't want to go back to school to get my doctorate. So I was trying to figure out what would be the easiest way for me to go about that. So he made that wonderful suggestion. And I went ahead, I got my master's degree while I was still married. And then I graduated in 2006 with my master's in counseling, and I divorced my husband the same year. So it was quite a bit happening at that time for me. And then a few years later is when I went ahead and I received my license in 2013 here in Florida. So I've been licensed since then. And then throughout that, I was seeking my Reiki certifications. So that way I could do energy work. I also got my certification in yoga teaching and training. And then I also became an ordained minister, which is required for the state of Florida if you are a Reiki practitioner. So that was really the rationale behind it.
Yeah.
But I also marry people as well, and do several other ceremonies. So that kind of, I guess, covers most of the gist of what has gotten me to where I am right now.
I love it. Kind of. Wow. There's so much to you. Okay. And now you're helping people worldwide with your services. What in particular do you want to focus on today?
Well, so primarily, what I really thought would be helpful for anybody that is on their healing path. So I started to look into ancient techniques, mudras, mantras, understanding chakras, and being able to assist in that aspect. So over the last 2 years, during this whole crazy that we have going on with the pandemic, I really delved in and I created a collection of videos that will assist with deepening meditation. It helps go further into your postures for yoga. It's another aspect too, that if you want to connect with yourself, connect with God, connect with spirit, we use these mudras and mantras. And just to demonstrate, I wanted to kind of show. So one of them is my favorite. It's Lotus, where you place your hands together and then you just blossom out your fingers. So it's like you're blossoming into the new version of yourself. You're connecting with your true self. So these mudras can be really helpful when it comes to really wanting to connect with your true self and your true essence. So this collection of videos I've created, I have about 75 videos that I have available. They're for a very nominal fee, $11.11. So I tapped into the angel numbers, 1111.
Yeah.
You can rent them for about a week and you can practice with me using these various videos. And I also created some courses that are specific for connecting with energy, shifting energy, and being able to move, because emotion is energy in motion. So all these feelings that we have going on, all this internal turmoil, we can work through it by knowing how to tap into and manipulate, transmute, and alchemize our own energy. So these courses, I have 2 so far that I have done. One of them is 6 hours long. It's all about the benefits of yoga postures with each chakra. So I started at the root and then I worked my way up to the crown. And I also made sure that there was information there about the various benefits for every posture. So it's 6 hours long, and that's $555 if you wanted to purchase it, and you have it lifelong. So you'll have it forever. You can go back and reference it. And then the other one that I created too is Mudras for Mental Health. So this one focuses on feelings of depression, some feelings of anxiety, and overthinking. So there's specific mudras that you can use to help alleviate some of those emotions and those feelings. And I have that course available as well, 333. So we are tapped into all these wonderful angel numbers.
Beautiful. Now, were you always spiritual? Were you always, growing up in your whole life, or was it your experience that kind of brought you to this side, or did you always kind of have a little innate knack for this stuff?
Well, I did have some religion growing up, but I wouldn't say that I truly aligned with that spiritual connection. And when I got into college, I took a philosophy course, and it really kind of opened things up a little bit more for me. And I started leaning towards existentialism. And then I started working on meditation. I actually joined a unity church, and then was starting to really truly align more with the Buddhist philosophy. And so really all that I've gone through has brought me to where I am right now. The upbringing and what I had exposed to with religion, I wouldn't say that really aligns with where I'm at right now.
Got it. Well, thank you again, Reverend JJ, joining us here today. Just remind us how we can reach you before we continue.
Absolutely. Check out the website, jjlotustherapy.com.
Perfect. All right. What's next on tap for us today?
I guess, wanted to also add and talk a little bit about my podcast that I also started. And I have a YouTube channel that's available if anybody wants to check that out as well. So I've been pretty busy over the last 2 to 3 years in creating some of this. But I do have a podcast. I would say that it's pretty raw. I do swear.
Okay.
Spiritual people do sometimes have their moments, and the F word can sometimes come out. So it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but the podcast is the Lotus Lounge, and I have it broadcasted on Spotify, iTunes, Google Cast, a couple other places for distribution. But it really tells more detail and in depth about my history, my traumas. I really get into what I have gone through and share some of my own intimate stories in my life. And then I also talk a little bit about some of what's going on in the world around us. I share some of the darkness. I talk about ascension. And different things that are happening there in regards to connecting with whatever, our oversoul, our higher self, however you want to say it. So I still kind of bring about some of the spirituality into that. So that's the Lotus Lounge is the podcast, and the same name also for my YouTube channel. And every full moon, I'm doing a live YouTube yoga session. So I usually schedule it about 9 o'clock at night. It's very chill, relaxing, calming. It kind of helps us get situated and ready for rest, connecting with self. But so a lot of some of the videos and things that I've created, I've also put the podcast into a video format. That's all on the YouTube as well, the Lotus Lounge. So you can check that out too.
Wow. Do you have time to sleep?
I really don't sleep. I think it has something to do with the age and where I'm at now. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't get a whole lot of sleep, and I stay pretty busy. But I love what I do. This is my passion. I have availability. People can book with me if you want to understand more about your chakras. I'm doing some holistic healing. I didn't really touch on, and I might as well mention also breath work. So some pranayama, which, aligns with the yoga. So, people can schedule if you like some of those services with me. All of those are available as well through the website, jjlotustherapy.com. And all those services are 30 minutes long and $111. So 111. So you can also connect with me that way too.
Beautiful. And so tell me more about the Lotus Lounge. What are some of the topics, recent topics, and how often do you do the podcast?
Well, I started it back, I believe, 2021. And really what was going on was I was in hermit mode. I've lost, let's say it this way, I've lost a lot of connections. As you go through your healing journey, sometimes we kind of find that we don't really vibe and our energy doesn't always connect with certain beings anymore. So I found myself kind of sitting in my room talking to myself, and I said, well, I think I have some really good informative things to share, and I wanted to use my voice and I wanted to speak my truth. So I actually just did a podcast yesterday. I'm doing them right now, I'd say on average about once a month. Sometimes I'll do 2 a month. But when I first started, I mean, I was doing it almost every other day. I had a lot to say, so I wanted to share quite a bit about myself. Like I said, my own darkness. And the Lotus is very significant for me as well. It's delving deep into the mud, working on that shadow side, those uncomfortable feelings and emotions that people really don't want to deal with, and then coming out of it even stronger. So again, telling my story, talking about my history and my traumas. And then, I touch on various topics. So, we could say things in regards to 3D, 4D, 5D dimension, ascension. I've shared some information that can be a little controversial. I have information that I've talked about in regards to I don't know, like aliens, reptilians, various things that maybe some people may or may not know quite a
Such a
bit.
believer. There was something on the news again in California, and a guy saw it, filmed it, and everyone's fighting over the energy circle. Is it real? Is it not? Of course, there's life out there, but that's just my opinion. I mean, please.
Well, I think there's way more to this world and this realm that we are here in. And I think that all of us have our own unique special gifts and powers that God has given to us, and we need to tap into that energy. And as we connect with self, right, we're elevating and shifting our own consciousness, which in turn will have an impact on everything else around us. So it's an amazing time to be alive right now.
I love it. I love it. It's exciting. Plus, we got, fall in the air, the holiday season coming. It's always a good feel, I think. And then you got the start of the new year and the different type of energy, and speaking of energy, when you talk a little bit about Reiki and the chakras and the energy work you do, could you just share, if someone may not have even heard of that, they don't know what chakras are, explain the process of energy healing, maybe some of the benefits it has and how it can work like you and I right now on a Zoom or on a phone call or face to face, because it's kind of harsh for some people. Like my father, I try to explain it to him, it's a little difficult. He's older, but he doesn't understand, but I'm like, it can work. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah. I went ahead, I made a couple of notations too, so that way I would make sure that I didn't forget too many things. But so I really want to talk about the 3 aspects in regards to shifting energy, right?
Perfect.
So we're using these tools, right? So this is our foundation.
Yep.
So like I was saying, the mudras, like this is a mudra. Everybody's familiar with this particular mudra. We've seen it all over the place. This, when you interlace all your fingers and then you make a diamond like this. Andrew Tate, I see him like this all the time. This is called Uttara Bodhi, right? So Uttara, that aspect of it is about upwards. And then the Bodhi has to do with our awakening. So Uttara Bodhi is about our upward energy towards awakening, right? So we're using these particular mudras specifically. So if you're sitting in meditation, right, you can put your hands into certain gestures, right? So it's a seal. Mudra equals seal. So it's sealing in your own energy, right? So you can use that. And then we're looking at chakras, right? We have 7 within the body. And then there's actually other ones too that are elevated outwards and throughout our own being. There's, I believe, and I don't know all of these, but there's, I think, like a star chakra, right? So we're connecting with our light body. So we have these 7 energy aspects within the body, and it starts at the base. So that's our root. And then we work our way up. And what we're wanting to do ideally is it's that Kundalini is where having the serpent rise up the spine and then coming up towards the 3rd eye, which is the pineal gland. And then you're activating the pineal, which is our connection to God and source or the creator. So this is the purpose of using these techniques. So that way you connect to spirit, source, yourself, and within. So do you want me to talk a little bit about the 7 specific chakras?
No, you don't need to. I mean, I'm familiar. A lot of people are. It's fine. But I just love how you explain this. It makes a lot more sense to us. Thank you. No, let's continue down your list and definitely take care of what's on the agenda.
Excellent. Well, so we got the mudras, we have the chakra work, right? And then to tap into that energy, we can also use various mantras. So Om, which I actually have Om tattooed on my back, and I also have the Lotuses tattooed on my back. So tattoos, quite significant. But when you just use the Om, right, it vibrates at 432 hertz, which is actually a healing frequency. So when you use that, you're vibrating within yourself, you're shifting your own energy. And then again, we're connecting to source, connecting to the universe. So that's just one example. Each chakra has its own mantra. And this is where the videos that I have done and created for everybody, I've incorporated frequency. So I have in the background different frequencies that can help shift. I've utilized the mudras, so that way we're sealing in the energy, and then we're chanting. And throughout the video, to like kind of practice that, then you're chanting whatever that specific mantra happens to be for that chakra. And then you're working through all of that energy.
Beautiful. We love it. We love it. We love it. We love. Oh my gosh, are we almost out of time? Oh my gosh. Yeah, we have 2 minutes left. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. Okay. So how do we want to leave off for today? My goodness.
Well, I mean, I would really just suggest those, that are wanting to truly delve into their healing journey. I have gone through the mud. I use this phrase, in my podcast, that I am the lotus, so I have gone through so many various things in my life. And I am here, I am happy, and I want to continue to help those that are truly wanting to do the work. Even just therapy, you go into counseling, it's not just about talking about our problems, it's all about too, what are we going to change? So we've got to be willing to want to do the work. So I have many, many resources and tools out there. And I just want to touch on real quick before we go too. I do accept insurance for mental health therapy in Florida. So I have a handful: Cigna, Aetna, Oxford, United Healthcare, and Oscar.
Which is listed on our website, by the way. I saw it before.
Yeah, it is all there. And I also can do telehealth with clients that have Blue Cross and Blue Shield in Massachusetts, which I'm actually originally from Massachusetts.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool that I have that credentialing now. So Beautiful. If anybody's really wanting to delve in, start dealing with their stuff, if you've had trauma, you're overwhelmed, you're stressed out, I'm here to help.
Beautiful. Thank you again for joining us. Thanks for another great show. Tell us how we can reach you one more time.
Check out the website, jjlotustherapy.com. And thank you so much, too, for this opportunity. And it was a wonderful dialogue. I really enjoyed it.
Same here. Thank you so much for everything. And congrats on all you do and the fact that you're helping so many people. So many different, the cognitive, the behavioral therapy we would even get into, but there's so much more to you. We'll talk again soon, okay?
Excellent. Thank you so much. Have a fabulous day. It's a new moon.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.